Welcome all. It's my honor today to welcome the program coordinator of the Hrant Dink Foundation and the director of the 23.5 Hrant Dink side memory, Nayat Karaköse. In 2007, after the assassination of Hrant Dink, a Turkish-Armenian journalist, the foundation was founded and works to monitor hate speech, human rights and democracy. At the moment, an exhibition is being held right now in Yerevan between May 7th to July 30th on Buzan Street and organized by the Hrant Dink Foundation. It is titled Hrant Dink Here and Now. The exhibition will give viewers the opportunity to better understand Hrant Dink's legacy, his views about dialogue and coexistence, and what he fought for. So Nayat, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for inviting me.
Can you tell us a bit about this exhibition? What is the message the exhibition is trying to send? And it's also connected to another exhibition going on right now at the Hrant Dink Foundation. So can you tell us a bit more about it?
Yes, the exhibition stemmed from 23.5 Hrant Dink Site of Memory in Istanbul. Maybe it's better if I brief you about 23.5 in Istanbul. Well, Hrant Dink, as many of you know, was assassinated on January 19, 2007 in front of the Agos newspaper building in Sebat building in Shishli, Istanbul during the daytime. And the Hrant Dink Foundation was established a couple of months after his assassination to continue his dreams, his legacy, and his struggle. And both the foundation, the newspaper continued operating from Sebat building. And we moved to a new place in 2015. So when this discussions about moving out started, many people also started to ask, what are you going to be with the former site? Because we know that since his assassination, it has a very important significance place in the collective memory and collective conscience of the society. And there was a word that was produced there. Yes, on January 19th, unfortunately, we all witnessed this tragic political assassination, which has a really, really big sorrow in our hearts. That pain will never pass. But at the same time, memory sites and many places has different layers of meanings. It was the place where Agos newspaper started to blossom. It was a site of hope, transformation for the minorities in Turkey. But on January 19th, it became a site of tragedy. But from that night on, we saw how it transformed to a site of conscience as many people reacted against this assassination. And on the 23rd of January, during his funeral day, 200,000 of people, mostly Turks, Kurds, they walked the streets of Istanbul from Sebat building, from that site. And from that time on, we all already started viewing that space as a site of conscience. So before moving out, we started to work on how we can turn into this site into a memory site, but there was no such place in Turkey. It would be the first one. So we decided to conduct a very comprehensive preparation stage where we visited more than 100 museums, memory sites dealing with difficult histories, violent past in different parts of the world. We met with curators, experts. We received their recommendations and invited them to Istanbul to think together as well. And we really conducted a very participatory collective process. And after 5 years of preparation, we opened the doors of the memory sites on 23rd of 23.5 of April 2019. The site, it's like a museum. It can be visited each day except for Mondays. It's open for everyone. While it's shedding light on Hrant Dink's life, his different periods of life as a journalist, as an activist, and also we shed light on the story of the Agos newspaper, because Agos is a trailblazing newspaper. It was established in 1996 during a very difficult period in Turkey. And it's the first newspaper to be published both in Turkish and in Armenian. So we started reaching out to wider communities and to inform them about Armenians, the problems and challenges of Armenians, minorities, the culture of minorities as well. So Agos was a big transformation and opening, and over the course of time we saw how Armenians in Turkey started to shift from being passive citizens to active citizens because they found their voice. So we are also shedding light on this story of the newspaper, as well as we are addressing issues that the minorities are dealing with in Turkey, such as some human rights violations against minorities, such as like confiscated Armenian properties and other right-related situations. We have the archive of the newspaper where people can explore more about what was going on in the 90s, in the 2000s, during the EU accession process as well. But the site, of course, addresses how Hrant Dink became a target over the course of time, the events that led to his assassination and the aftermath of the assassination as well. And one of the things that we want to do with the site is that we want to promote the universal values that was embraced by Hrant Dink, because his only issue was not only Armenians. Kurdish people's issues was his matter, headscarf women's issues was his matter. So he was a true Democrat and he embraced human rights, democracy, equality, justice. So we are trying to promote these values through the site, not only through the exhibits, but also through the public programs that we are crafting, like workshops, talks, public panels as well. And now we are working relentlessly on developing some learning-based human rights education learning programs that will be delivered at the site for different audiences, from youth to adults. So it's a living site of memory, and it acts like a space of dialogue, research, communication, because we need like to contact and communicate and interact with each other. And I think 23.5 provides a wonderful venue to bring people together and to initiate some conversations and to trigger some discussions across differences. And I should also say that on each January 19th, still thousands of people gather in front of the newspaper building, in front of the memory site, to commemorate Hrant Dink and to demand justice. So the site is a link between the outside, between the inside, and it's a site where we continue seeking justice and truths. So in a nutshell, that's what we do in Istanbul. And Here and Now exhibit in Yerevan, of course, one of our dreams was to have like exhibitions in other countries as well. So Yerevan would definitely be the first starting point. And we are so glad that we achieved this year. If it wasn't for pandemic, we would have opened it before. And Here and Now is a reflection of the memory site in Istanbul, but with some new content as well. Because we have a very large archive of Hrant Dink, and we wanted to also highlight and feature some of his interviews in Armenian about Turkey-Armenian normalization process, about dialogue, about the importance of dealing with the past. And one of the particularities of both sides, both in Istanbul and in Turkey, it's Hrant Dink who guides you through the exhibition himself, from his own voice. So our visitors will be able to listen and watch all the content from Hrant Dink's own voice. And since memory sites, what we have learned are more of a question rather than an answer, we ask questions at the sites so that the visitors can revisit the sites and like to leave the site with questions and come back again, maybe to seek answers of those questions. Mm-hmm. So it's an extension of that invitation here in Yerevan, and connecting like both sides. And yeah.
And I also understand that a screen system has been installed, so people can see each other between Yerevan and Istanbul and even speak to each other through an audio system.
Absolutely, because as I mentioned, like for us, connecting people is very much important, and I think normalization starts with fostering dialogue and mutual understanding and creating these avenues of comprehension as well. So what we do at Here and Now exhibition, we have a screen, and it's connected to our memory site in Istanbul, and both visitors from both parties are able to see each other, communicate, talk with each other. So it's a gate opening to both countries. And I think it offers a really, really invaluable opportunity to meet with each other, to talk with each other.
So obviously civil society in Turkey, according to many, is under a lot of pressure, especially after an attempted coup in Turkey in years past. In 2019, a conference organized by the Hrant Dink Foundation was banned by a Turkish court. The foundation has also received death threats in the past. What are your views about how some groups or the Turkish establishment views the activities of the foundation, and how do you work under such pressure?
Well, since the military coup attempt, or maybe we can even say since the Gezi uprisal, there's a shrinking space for the civil society, not only for the civil society, but for academia, media as well. And there's a backsliding in the human rights, and we are very much aware of that. But I think that even under those circumstances, the work of the civil society is crucial, because it's really important to promote human rights, to protect our rights, and also to create these channels of cooperation, solidarity, and communication. Yes, unfortunately, for the first time in 2019, our conference on Kayseri was banned, and before that we didn't have such an intervention. And of course that saddened us. And that was a signal also that things will not be easier as well for the future. But we continued despite all the odds, because I think the oxygen of the civil society environment is still the hope about the people, and unfortunately, we are bearing witness to how our colleagues like Osman Kavala, Çiğdem Mater, who also had very important contributions to Turkey-Armenia relations and normalization as well, now are in jail. And our hearts are aching for that. But we will continue, never give up on continuing our struggle on behalf of them as well. And it's very important to create this solidarity. Yes, our conference was banned, but at the same time, we saw how people started to react against this ban, or after the death threats as well. There was just solidarity from four corners of Turkey, through sending emails, through phoning us, and just asking how we are. Maybe I can say that yes, there will be probably other bans to other civil society organizations in Turkey, and also we should also note that it's not an easy environment for the human rights organizations, not only in Turkey but globally as well. There's shrinking space in different corners of the world, and we are going through the same problems. But it's very important to also become part of the solution and to produce alternative strategies to counter this kind of measures against the civil society. For instance, after the Kayseri conference, a week after, we decided to organize a dumpling festival, Kayseri Dumpling Festival, because dumpling is the most famous food of Kayseri. So we said, why don't we organize such an event, cook mantı together, eat together, organize a panel about the history of mantı together, and stage, some kind of performances there. And in 1 week, we organized this. Hundreds and hundreds of people came to foundation. We cooked, prepared mantı together, we ate together, and it turned out to be a great event of solidarity. And at the same time, it empowered us, because we know that there are also people who are trying to do whatever they can do to enlighten the darkness that we are surrounded by. I think civil society's role is that, yes, there is sometimes pure darkness and you cannot see around, but we should carry a match or something to light and just continue doing whatever we can do. And I think Hrant Dink Foundation and many other civil society organizations are doing incredibly important work to continue to promote human rights, to defend human rights activists that are under risk as well.
So apart from the exhibition, obviously the foundation has other divisions as well, like the Police Institute. So can you speak a bit about these other divisions and the work they do as well?
Yeah, we operate our programs under 3 main divisions, and one program, as I informed you about, Turkey-Armenian relations program, 23.5 Hrant Dink side of memory. But apart from that, we have Asulist Discourse, Dialogue and Democracy Lab. And under this lab, we work on hate speech. Since 2019, the foundation has been conducting an extensive media research on hate speech to identify the hate speech against ethnic minorities. And we are the only NGO in Turkey doing this work continuously. Still, we are monitoring the media, we are publishing reports, we are producing a lot of trainings, panels, workshops, and awareness-raising multimedia productions as well. But for us, not only highlighting the problem is enough, we also want to become part of the solution. So that's why 2 years ago, we developed this training module on an inclusive discourse. How can we change the narrative? How we can change the discourse to promote a pluralistic and inclusive discourse. So we train a lot of people at the moment, from the civil society to municipalities, from youth to teachers. We are reaching out to hundreds of people, not only from Istanbul, but from different cities of Turkey as well. So definitely hate speech is one of our core working areas. We also gave support to civil society between 2019-21. We supported 15 NGOs by giving them grants who are working on human rights, women's rights, LGBTI rights, minority rights, dealing with the past. And that was a really great experience for us to contribute to their very, very significant work, to cooperate with them. And as the foundation, we give special importance to contribute to the capacity building of civil society organizations. We invite a lot of international and local experts to deliver trainings, workshops, and to introduce best practices from 4 corners of the world, not only from Europe, but from South Africa to Cambodia to USA. So we really bring a lot of human rights activists, experts, practitioners to Turkey and connect them with the civil society in Turkey to contribute to their advancements in skill building. And we are learning ourselves as well. And under Police Institute, it's an institute for research on minorities and Armenians, and we implement a lot of projects on oral histories. We have more than 600 hours of oral histories done by Armenians from different cities of Turkey, and we are publishing books, and each year we are trying to focus on a different city, like Diyarbakır, Kayseri, Sivas. Recently we did Kınalada, and we will continue publishing those books and trying to give voice to the Armenians and their experience in terms of identity. What is it like to be Armenian? So, and now we are using this oral history testimonies in a different way and crafting learning programs on rights-based education through the testimonies as well. And we give a lot of importance on multicultural heritage of Turkey. We work a lot of cultural heritage. For instance, in 2014, we started building an online interactive map. It's accessible on our website, and the users are able to navigate city by city and to see how many Armenian churches were there, how many Greek schools were there, how many Syrian schools were there. So everything is visible in that map, and we identified more than 9,500 cultural heritage structures. And the number is still being updated and growing, and there are photos and videos and testimonies from those cities. And we have a mobile app called Kardes, and you can download it on your mobile devices, and you can take the tour of the city in different neighborhoods. And the application sheds light on the alternative histories, multicultural histories of the buildings of the cities. We started with Istanbul, and soon we are launching Ankara, and our dream is to expand this to all cities. And as we mentioned, we organize scientific conferences on a specific city each year, and many international and local scholars come. We have an archive and library section, and we produce also exhibits from our archive, like the Hagop Ayvaz exhibit that we have done last week, which last year, which received like thousands of visitors. And each year, lastly, we have on Hrant Dink's birthday on 15th of September, International Hrant Dink Award, where we award like human rights defenders, activists from Turkey or organizations from abroad to acknowledge and to say our thanks to their incredible work to protect and promote human rights. So in a nutshell, that's the work that the foundation does.
So it's also interesting that at the moment the process of normalizing relations between Armenia and Turkey has been initiated. I'm interested what you and your team think when you see, for example, the Armenian and Turkish foreign ministers meeting. This sort of dialogue is something that many people have worked towards in both societies. So what do you think when you see this? And also, how do you think Hrant Dink would be viewing what's happening between Armenia and Turkey in 2022?
Well, from the very beginning, one of the main issues that we were trying to address and also promote was Turkey-Armenia normalization process. Because Hrant Dink was a defender of dialogue between two countries, and he always said, like, dialogue is our only recipe. And he believed in the power of people-to-people contact, communication. Because change can come from people. Yes, on one hand, there are governments, but on the other hand, there are people. And if we connect people, introduce them each other, and like bring them together, things may transform over the course of time. It's a long process. Normalization will not be easy. It's a long process where we have to be very patient. But as a foundation, we have been like producing, implementing a lot of dialogue-based projects, like for instance, like dialogue programs. We started with the journalists. We were bringing together journalists from both countries on different occasions and trying to like allowing them to understand the neighboring country that they have never seen before and maybe that they have some prejudices against. So we were trying to introduce them with their colleagues in the neighboring country, and because in the past we were seeing that there were only negative news about both countries, but over the course of time, when we started taking journalists from both countries, we saw that the narrative is changing a bit, like in a more positive way, and that was because we succeeded in bringing them together, and some of them even continued their communication after those programs. We implemented travel grants where many people from different professions were able to travel to Armenia or to Turkey for their projects. It could be artists, architects, musicians, writers, whoever had a project. They traveled to both countries and started cooperating with their colleagues in the neighboring country, which was very important, and we supported more than 600 people over the course of this program. And also we had a fellowship program where also fellows from both countries were coming to the neighboring country, working there for 3-4 months, and like experiencing the life and work environment there and connecting to the people there. So I think implementing those kind of projects really contribute to fostering different kind of empathy and dialogue and communication, and our foundation is very much willing to continue as such. And of course, like we support the normalization of the relationships. We support an open border, but I think, yes, on government level, that's one side, but we focus our work and on people-to-people contact, because if there is a demand from bottom to top, that also sparks change. And we believe in the power of people, and we hope that they can also influence their governments as well. So we will continue working on that, and based on Hrant Dink's own dream as well about the normalization and dialogue.
Okay, well, Nayat, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And so the exhibition is titled Hrant Dink, Here and Now. It will be taking place between May 7th to July 30th in Yerevan's Buzan Street. And thank you for joining us on CivilNet.